Welcome. We're so happy you're here. My name is Paul Vivana. I have been emailing a lot of you. I am the Diversity in Women's Program Coordinator, and I use the pronouns she, her, hers as my pronouns. We are very grateful that all of you are here and taking time to be here. But before we introduce our speakers, please give a round of applause to our student musicians from the School of Music, New Music Hill. These are students who write and perform their own composition, and so we're very honored that they're here today to play for you. We also have a very special 50th birthday, not mine, not there yet. So please let's take a minute to wish Baby J happy birthday. Thank you, Baby J. I think Baby J is going to have to go ready for the game. So we'll see you at the game today.
Great job. Get ready.
So lastly, we do have a short program for you today. But to get us started is Dr. Elaina Sutley, who is the Associate Dean for Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging. She's the IHOC Director, and she's also the Associate Professor in the Department of Civil, Environmental, and Architecture Engineering. So please help me welcome Dr. Elaina Sutley.
Thanks, Pavi. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, not loud enough. Thanks so much for being here, and a big thank you to Chancellor Gerard for being here as well, to Dr. Graham, the Interim Vice Provost for DEIB, to Dean Aga for being here, for Dr. Tamler, there she is, the Associate Dean for Research for being here. Many of our department chairs are here. Dr. Darwin from Civil, Environmental, and Architectural Engineering, thank you for being here. Dr. Williams from Chemical and Petroleum Engineering. Dr. Hale, somewhere I don't see him, but maybe in the back, from Aerospace Engineering, thanks for being here. And Dr. Fries from Mechanical Engineering, thanks so much for being here. As Pavi mentioned, my name is Elaina Sutley. I use the pronouns she, her, hers as well, and I'm your new Associate Dean for Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging. And it is such an honor to step into this role. As a PhD student, my degrees are Civil Structural Engineering. I am an Associate Professor in Civil Structural Engineering here, but as a PhD student, I was co-trained in sociology. And my research focuses on community disaster resilience, and I've always studied social vulnerability and the disparities that happen in disasters. So, not a lot of engineers study social equity, and I've fondly been called the engineer who cares about people, which is kind of a worrisome thing that maybe we're not all caring about people, but I've worn it as a badge of honor in any case. And so when this position became available in the school, I saw it as a really wonderful opportunity for me to apply what I've been doing in my research and try to make a real difference and impact here in the school. So I'm going to share with you a little bit more about the future of this program, but right now I'm going to pass the torch and ask, I want to acknowledge Matterport for being our presenting sponsor and welcome Pam Alexander to come speak to you as our presenting sponsor for this 50th anniversary event.
Hi, what a beautiful day. And what a beautiful sea of faces we have here. 30 years ago this year, I graduated from KU with a master's in computer engineering. Very, very proud to be an alum, and also very proud to be a part of Matterport as a principal software engineer. I love what I do. I absolutely have passion for what I do every day. But it's so much more meaningful to be part of a company that recognizes and values programs like this. I think especially in today's climate, it's absolutely critical that we celebrate diversity and that we strive for inclusivity. I think there is a rich group of voices out there from a variety of cultures and backgrounds and socioeconomic conditions. It's absolutely critical that we include those voices across everything that we do to help create a more equitable world and to help everyone live a better life. So I just want to thank you so much for giving Matterport the opportunity to participate in a program like this and to help really the students flourish, to become a part of a group of people that can help solve the big problems that are out there. So thank you again.
All right, so I'm going to project loud. Can you all hear me okay? So I wanted to say before, we do have more speakers, we would not be in this role without our students, without their passion, without their dedication to KU and to the School of Engineering. So I do want to recognize just a couple of our student leaders that are here. We do have the presidents of the IHOC organizations, Juan, Jalen, Miriam, Diego, and Dareen. And then we have our IHOC and Quest One ambassadors who are running the show and do a lot of the behind the scenes for me. I want to take a minute to recognize them. Jose, Riley, Matt, Elena, Elizabeth, Alejandra, Aaron, Shayna, and Doreen, Ron. And then lastly, the IHOC students. So I want you guys to please stand up. And I know this is weird, but I want to give you guys a pause. Because we really, really would not be here without you and your support. So thank you all for being here this morning, and then continue to come see us in the IHOC office. So since starting my role in June, I've had the pleasure of mentoring all of our IHOC students. I love when they come into our office and they either cry, they have a bad day, or they're having a great day, but I love that they feel comfortable. One student whom I'd like to introduce who I've had the pleasure of working with is, since her one student in particular I've had the pleasure of working with, I would like to introduce. She has been in IHOC since her freshman year. Doreen Essa is a senior in mechanical engineering, graduating in May of 2022, so congratulations. I'm sad that she's going to leave. She's been involved with IHOC, Self, Honors College. She's a 22 Global Scholar and is currently the Society of Women Engineering President. And one of her favorite IHOC events is the iHawkathon, and she looks forward to participating in this year. So please help me welcome Doreen Essa.
Okay, so I know that microphone's an issue, but I'm hoping that you all can hear me and hear me clearly, but do let me know, especially for the students in the back. So, thank you, Pavi, for that introduction. It is an honor to be here, and even a greater honor to get the opportunity to share with you all about my experience with IHOC and the impact that it's had on my college career. When I was first invited to speak, they gave me a 10-minute range, and at first I was like, are you sure you want me to talk for that long? But then after that, I didn't know how much I'd be able to fill up and what I could talk about. But as I got to writing the speech, I realized that there are so many different opportunities and ways that IHOC has personally impacted me, and I had more than enough to talk. So before I get to sharing exactly what that means, I'd like to tell you all a little bit about how I arrived here at KU and a little bit about my background. So when I meet people for the first time, I always get the question, where am I from? And what I answer with is, do you want the long version or the short version? And for you all, and because I'm a byproduct of way too many career fairs, thank you, Kathy, I'll give you all the elevator pitch. I was born in Tucson, Arizona, and at the age of 3, I moved overseas to a country called Kuwait. I lived there for about 9 years and moved back to Overland Park, Kansas, right before my 8th grade year. And 8th grade year was not as good as I anticipated, but we made it, and I arrived here at KU. And but despite all of those moving and the different states and countries that I've lived in, I'm actually originally Palestinian. And if Palestine doesn't sound familiar, if the words like falafel, hummus, Sheikh Jabbar, you're in the right spot. And so now, knowing all that information, the reason why I mention it is because growing up in these two different societies, a career in STEM was not always an option on the table. I'm of Arab heritage, and I'm also Muslim, and it was ironically more popular for me to go into computer science rather than mechanical engineering. And so despite it all, I tried to figure out how things worked, my curiosity grew, and I soon gained the nickname of Bob the Builder in my nuclear family, and my mom knows this. And she realized that the field of engineering was one I would pursue no matter what other people would say about it. And there was definitely some saying. There was oh, so you can fix my car now, right? Or like, I'm not too sure you'd look good in overalls. And a personal favorite of mine is, if you're gonna be an engineer, what is your husband gonna do? You see, my time in high school was especially influential because I realized that I could choose the courses and pursue engineering in an academic setting. And I was fortunate to enroll in multiple courses that exposed me to additive manufacturing, robot programming, and technical drawing. But what I was also exposed to is a consistent yet disproportionate ratio of female to male students in STEM classes. My teacher for her principles of engineering, Ms. Stolman, was a role model for tackling this stigma. She contacted students, female students who excelled in math and science, and encouraged them to enroll in her class so that they would see engineering as a viable option. She motivated students, and she motivated me personally. And after experiencing those inequalities that women face universally, despite location and pursuit of career in engineering, I promised myself to not only to continue developing my own skills, but to also aid in providing women and other underrepresented minorities in similar opportunities so that they can see that they have potential in this career. This way, the upcoming generation can look for role models who look like them, come from backgrounds like them, and have excelled despite the odds that were placed in front of them. And that is the mentality that I entered here at KU with. This is my 7th school, and you can double check the numbers with my mom. But I had gotten used to having to go to a new environment and trying to adapt. And so you may wonder, what did I do this time? The answer was pick up a part-time in the engineering dean's office my freshman year and attend 24 different organizations, but don't worry, I trimmed it down to 11. And you know, that gave me an opportunity to develop a networking system that would soon unlock so many different doors for me. My freshman year, through an election process, I gained the position new representative in SWE, and now I'm president. I was also involved in the Tiny House Project, which then opened up my involvement in the Multicultural Scholars Program, which then opened up a better relationship with Dr. Williams and Angela at the time. And it kind of just kept snowballing from there. I started participating in hackathons, Conquer Your Classes, and got access to these very important resources that were vital for my success. So much so that I have spent hours, and this is not an exaggeration, trying to fit it all on my resume. And that was not the goal. The goal was to be a part of a community that was beyond my degree and the people that I would see every day. It was a community that would focus on making me feel less isolated, a community where even though there might be 3 other women in my 37 student class, I would be able to share my experiences, embrace my individuality, and not decrease my self-efficacy and my experiences there. And even if I were to share a story of being overlooked, underestimated, or when feeling frustrated of having to put 120% effort in everything that I do so I can deserve the recognition, I would be able to talk to someone within the program who understands my experiences, who would help me refocus my goals and assist me in creating a plan so that the next time I receive that recognition that I deserve. And that is what IHOC is. It's to fill a gap that most people don't recognize until it's straight in your face. I completed an internship this past summer in the construction industry, which I know is already like a facepalm moment. Not only is it an industry that lacks in female representation, but also entering it as a Muslim person who wears a hijab, I've never seen more double takes in my entire life. It's like, oh, look, an intern walking the site, looks away, oh wait, what? And to say it was a challenge was an understatement. But 2 weeks into the internship, I received an email from someone named Teresa. I had no idea who she was. She worked at the company's headquarters miles away. But I did my due diligence and I stalked her on LinkedIn. And I realized why she wanted to connect. Because like me, she was also a Muslim female wearing the hijab in the construction industry. We set up a meeting that soon became a bi-weekly one, and it gave me an opportunity to talk about the industry, pursuing grad school, and helping me deal with a lot of the frustrations that I was experiencing with. And you may be wondering why this is so significant. It was because having a mentor, someone who had similar experiences, similar characteristics, was vital in making me feel encouraged and successful, and to continue my pursuit in a career in construction. And as I would like to share a quote with you all, which is, I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Maya Angelou eloquently communicated the positive and negative feelings that I often feel, that I often associate with my experience, specifically in college. But I can let you know that IHOC has been all positive, so don't worry about that one. But when the academic year started, I was excited to jump back in and welcoming not only the freshmen, but also the sophomores, and making sure that they feel welcomed, not isolated, and definitely ready to start their career in engineering. And currently, I'm so excited to work with the current IHOC ambassadors, executive officers from all the different organizations, and to help pay it forward before I graduate. And I believe that the new leaders appointed to this program, Pavi and Dr. Sutley, that even though the faces change, the expectations don't. And they have the opportunity to not only continue our traditional events, but to also provide new ones. And that is what I believe goes hand in hand in what it means to be an engineer. We do help people, and the ways that we do it is not usually traditional. But no matter what field we work in, our gender, our role, race, ethnicity, an engineer's purpose is to support one another. Whether it's through designing the buildings and equipment to help establish businesses, inventing the technology to improve their lives, or educating the next upcoming generation of engineers, that allows us to uplift one another. And we support mankind as we advance in life. And that is why I wanted to be an engineer and what I hope for this program and its students. Thank you all.
Thank you. Let's give Doreen another round of applause. So please help me welcome back Dr. Sutley.
Thanks so much. Wow. Can't believe I have to follow Doreen. Thanks so much for that, Doreen. I mean, representation matters, right? And I think that's what you heard. And I just really appreciate you sharing that experience with us, Doreen. In 1971, the Student Council for Recruiting, Motivating, and Educating Black Engineers, SCORMAB, was founded by William Nunnery, Gene Kendall, and Ralph Temple. You know, I am a woman in engineering. I went through engineering school for 9 years. I know how hard it can be. But I cannot imagine what it was like 50 years ago. I can't imagine what it was like 50 years ago for those three individuals, and I'm in awe of their vision and what they started. The last 50 years of this program have been carried on by some pretty amazing people. In the early 1970s, William Hogan led the program as the first assistant dean for minority engineering affairs. For 34 years, from 1983 to 2017, Florence Boldridge was the director of this program. You don't see that anymore. People don't stay in positions for 34 years, but it was her commitment. It was that continuity that I'm sure we have what we have today, and especially so many dedicated alumni. I had the privilege, Pavi and I both did, and the honor to spend some time with Miss Boldridge last night. She was here. She wanted to be here this morning, but she was here last night, and we got to hear so many warm memories of her time during those 34 years, and it was just really special. The last 4 years of the program were directed by Dr. Andrew Williams. Don't worry, Dr. Williams, I've been reminded twice to remember you, but I was waiting to thank you for being here to be extra special, so I could isolate the talk about you. So let me tell you a little bit about Dr. Williams. He participated in the summer program offered by SCORMAB as a high schooler. He came to KU, was an engineering student, and became a member of SCORMAB. He graduated, he went off and did amazing things. And if you don't know about the amazing things that Dr. Williams has done, look him up, give him a nice Google search. And then he came back and he became our Associate Dean for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion and the Director of the IHOC Diversity and Women's Programs. Wow. Thanks so much for being here, Dr. Williams. I mean, how incredibly successful was that summer program to have recruited him as a high school student, and he's now an engineering dean at the Citadel. That's pretty amazing. If you know, we'll give them another clap. But if you know about the history of this program, you actually might not be that surprised, because not only is it one of the oldest programs in the country, oldest diversity engineering programs in the country, it has a history of national recognition. In 1977, Scormaby was named one of the 4 best engineering minority programs in the country by the National Research Council. In 2011, Ms. Baldridge was recognized as the Minority Engineering Program Director of the Year by the National Society of Black Engineers. And most recently, in 2019, the American Society for Engineering Education honored KU Engineering with their bronze status of 29 institutions in the United States for being a leader in inclusive excellence. The program's changed a lot over these past 50 years from where it started with Scormaby. In 1987, we gained SHIP, the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers. And in 1990, we gained ASIS, the American Indian Science and Engineering Society. And in 1990, we also gained SWE, the Society for Women Engineers. In 1995, we rebranded to Diversity Programs to put all of those groups under our arms. And in 2017, rebranded to the IHOC Diversity and Women's Programs and launched Quest. So I'm really excited to share with you today that we're rebranding the program. I'm just kidding. We're not rebranding. You get to keep your t-shirts. But we are growing. In addition to offering targeted mentoring and support to our underrepresented racial minority students and our women students, we're opening our arms wider than ever to offer targeted mentoring and support and launching new scholarship campaigns for our LGBTQ students, for our first-generation college students, for our Asian American students, and for our students with different abilities and disabilities. Historically, disabilities has been treated as a compliance issue. What legally must we do? But we see it as equity and inclusion. And I'm really excited to see how we can better make all of our students feel like they belong here with us at KU. Opening our arms wider and making DEI be something that we're all working towards is the future of this program. We had over 200 students attend our Welcome Back event this fall. We've revived our advisory council, and I'm slowly meeting those people in person. Many of them are here today, and so excited to keep working with them. And we've launched a new DEIB committee in the School of Engineering that consists of students, faculty, and staff. The faculty there's one representative from each department. There's staff from different units across the school, and the students are pulled from the Engineering Student Council leadership, from the Graduate Engineering Association leadership. They're pulled from the Graduate Women and Allies Network leadership, and they're pulled from the IHOC leadership so that we can integrate DEIB throughout the school. The department chairs, as you saw, many of them are here today. They're committed to pursuing inclusive excellence and talking about diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging at every faculty meeting, because talking about it is one of the best ways for us to advance it and to change culture. We're continuing the Quest middle and high school programs, showcasing KU engineering to hundreds of young people every single year. We're growing the Quest Summer Bridge program, which helps place students into Calculus 1 their first semester here at KU. And we're growing our Quest 1 program, which is a week-long acclimation and mentorship program. We had 20 students go through it this past summer, and we're growing it. I think we'll have 25 or 30 this next summer, and we just want to keep making it bigger and bigger as long as we can keep that cohort feel to it as well. And of course, all year long, we're offering our community building and professional development opportunities to our IHOC students, the ones who are with us on campus every day, working on their degrees. Many of who, as you saw, were here this morning, and so thank you all so much for being here. We're revamping our IHOC student space so that they can host their board meetings, so that they can build that community, and so that they can have a place for sanctuary when things do get hard. And it's because of all this that I'm so excited for us to be able to pursue the silver status with the American Society of Engineering Education next year. I think we have a really good case to go after it and keep that history of national recognition for this program going. With 50 years of pioneering diversity and inclusion in the School of Engineering, our work's not done. I couldn't have a better teammate to do it with. And we could not be more excited for the opportunity to build on this incredible history, to grow this program. The history, the present, and the future wouldn't be possible without the generous gifts of so many alumni, passionate individuals, and our corporate sponsors. So I do want to take a moment to thank all of those people, and particularly express my sincere gratitude to Matterport and to Jason Rogers for being our presenting sponsors for this event. I want to thank Hewitt, Spirit Aerosystems, the wonderful company, for being our golden anniversary sponsors, and to Burns & McDonnell, Frito-Lay, H&TV, J.E. Dunn, and Coke for being our supporting sponsors. And there's one more individual who I'd like to thank, or who I'd like to recognize, and that's Dwayne Hickman. Dwayne was a member of Scormeby in the 1980s. He was even president of Scormeby at one point when he was here. He graduated with a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering. He went off to pursue graduate education elsewhere. He worked for 11 years for AT&T and for 23 years for the Sprint Corporation. He's one of our favorite types of alumni because he was engaged when he was here, he graduated, he did amazing things, and he stayed connected with us that whole time. He was an active member on the DEIB Advisory Council until he passed away a year ago. And his wife, Julie, is here today and preserves his legacy in the School of Engineering with a new scholarship, the Dwayne Hickman Scholarship, and his photos over here if you hadn't seen it. Julie, thank you so much for this. We have an incredible 50 years to build on, and I look forward to doing that with all of you. Thanks so much for being here. Please be sure to get your 50th anniversary coin. Do we have those over here? I don't know where they are. And help us eat all this food too. Thanks so much.